Hello everyone. Welcome to Switchcraft podcast.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Switchcraft, the Fingerboard podcast. I'm sitting here as usual with Julian Buono.
Hello everyone.
And this time we have a special guest over Skype, the one and only Mike Schneider.
Hello, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah, so we figured this is definitely a guest that most people would like to share information and stuff like that.
Even though a lot of stuff exists about you in the internet, you're still like the guy when it comes to like the newer wave of fingerboarding. And yeah, pretty cool to have you here. Let's start right at the beginning. What was first for you, the small board or the big board? Or how did you get into fingerboarding?
Yeah, I started skateboarding when I was like 8 or 9. And kind of started fingerboarding a little bit after, like maybe a few months after I started skateboarding. So I don't even know how I got into skating, but I just started doing it and liking it. And then, like kids in my class had fingerboards. So I thought it was super cool because I was like skateboarding, and then yeah, I would just like try out their tech decks and stuff, and I was always asking my parents like, can you buy me a tech deck? And like they had no idea how bad I wanted it, so it took like half a year, and then like eventually they bought me one, and I was just so obsessed with it.
Do you have a vague idea when that was? Like which year? Like
Yeah. I was 9 years old, and now I'm 26. So like 17 years ago.
Crazy.
Yeah, like it was like the end of 2002, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also when the first hype in Germany really started with tech decks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they started here in like 99, but I didn't see them.
Yeah.
No, I was like too little then.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you actually still have that tech deck?
Yeah, it's right over there on my wall.
I don't have a single tech deck from that time.
Include it.
Sorry, what?
Can like send you a picture of it if you want to include it somehow.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
Sure, that's cool.
Let's do that.
Are we doing the video or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
And we
like
try if we can do something with it.
Cool.
And at what point did you start to realize that you can actually do tricks on a fingerboard? Because I remember when I had my first tech deck, I was just like fumbling around.
Oh yeah, maybe some pressure flips.
Yeah.
It's kind of the mix between fumbling around and like trying to control it. Like we all used 3 fingers for the first
Yeah.
few months or so in class and stuff, just like flicking it around. But I don't know, I guess we were trying to do tricks like pretty much the whole time. I don't know how good we were in the beginning, but like we would always stack up different books and whatever we could find. Like, build stuff.
Yeah.
We would like stay inside from recess instead of going outside, and just stay in class, like 5 or 10 of us just like playing with fingerboards, tech decks.
Did others of that class also stick with fingerboarding, or were you the only one who still did it?
Yeah, like Pat McGinn's the only one who still does it.
Oh damn.
So that's like super cool. And then the rest of them, like we all fingerboarded a lot for like 4th grade, and then some kids in 5th grade. And then after that, like for a few years, like a few of them did it. Like the kids who stayed skateboarding kind of stuck with fingerboarding for a few years, and then like they were not super into it. Like I was obsessed with it, and Pat was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And like everybody else just like it was a cool thing for them for a few years, and then they moved on to whatever else. Just like how you try out 20 different sports when you're a kid. Most of them you forget about.
And did you start with your YouTube account like directly into fingerboarding?
No, There was no YouTube back then, actually.
Oh, right.
Like, we were uploading videos onto servers, and then like you had to download the video, and then you could watch it on your computer. And we were using like dial-up internet, so it would take like 12, 13 hours to download like 50 seconds of somebody fingerboarding like in 240p on a little webcam thing.
Yeah,
It was awesome back then.
even just getting a video like digitally was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like there were videos, but it was pretty underground. Like we would share them on like Tech Deck forums or there was like FFI and like RZF before that. I like just caught the end of that barely. And yeah, we would like upload it to some server, and then like you would post a link to it that people can download. And then eventually like somebody invented the fact that you could go on a website and watch a video on the website. And actually like before YouTube or around the same time, there was a few others like YouTube. And so I had like accounts on Vimeo and YouTube and a few others like right in the beginning. And then like YouTube just became the one that stuck around that got the most popular.
Yeah.
So I just kind of stayed using that. Like the other ones would get shut down over time, or like Vimeo was better quality, but for some reason it just never got popular and stuff like that. And that one still exists also, and like some of my old videos are on there, like some really cool stuff that's not on YouTube.
Sick. I'm gonna maybe link that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're not too embarrassed.
Sketch on Set is the best video ever. And it's only on Vimeo, I think.
Did you ever feel like excluded from the German scene? Because I remember during my time there was a lot of stuff during the Blackriver forum and the Fingerboard DE forum, and I don't think either had an English section. Was there?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like it didn't feel excluded. It was just like that most of it was in German.
Yeah.
And you know it's like across the world, and you have no idea what's going on. So like, it was more irrelevant. We just didn't think of it as a possibility, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, it was still back when nobody would kind of meet in person or anything like that, really. It was like, you're either fingerboarding with the people that you know, or you're just by yourself at your desk and on the computer and stuff. And, you know, if we, like, found something from Germany, it was, like, really cool to look at, but we didn't know what was going on. Like, I think sometimes I would go on the forums and, like, use a translator just to read what people were saying.
Probably the translations were hijus.
And I forgot my question.
What about like the first merging of the scene, your first real contact with the German scene, for example? Was it maybe with your first wooden fingerboard, or because I mean I watched your Berlinwood review, like that was one of the first fingerboard related videos I ever watched. So how did that kind of play out?
I don't remember exactly what the first like thing was, but I remember a few of the first things. It's like in no order, but kind of. I guess the first thing was like when I got rip tape, because I was still in school. I was in like probably in elementary, or no, maybe it was middle school. I can like picture the room where I was fingerboarding using rip tape for the first time, like the day I got it, and like I brought it to school right away. Dang, was that middle school? Anyways, like it was pretty early when I started fingerboarding, and I got rip tape, and I expected it to be really bad, so I only put it on a tech deck instead of like a good board, and then it was like super good, and I was like, wow, this is insane. And then I put it on like this Vegas board that I had. And anyway, so like to get rip tape, you have to find like a person who sold Blackriver stuff in the US, and they always existed for like 2 months, and they would sell a batch and like scam half of the people and then disappear. But like if you're lucky, you actually got it. And it happened like with 2 different distributors. So the first
stuff.
Yeah, I forget which order, but one was Moses and one was Amber Charlton, and they both kind of like sold some ramps and some rip tape and Berlin Woods, and like it was really expensive for a kid back then, and like I guess it still is because it's like top quality and everything.
Yeah.
But you know, we all saved up to get what we could, and then just hope that it arrived. Like, got rip tape, and it was really crazy cool stuff. And then eventually I got like my first Berlin wood, and I have it. Yeah, I'll send you a picture of that one too.
Oh.
And yeah, that thing was crazy. I just remember it was the longest board I ever saw because it was like 100 millimeters or so, maybe 98. I don't know, but like it was just longer than what we had.
Yeah, sure.
Crazy, but like so nice. Like the quality of that compared to the other wooden boards that we were getting at that time was like next level. It was like, damn, that's why it's $20 instead of $4 because it's really, really good and really fancy and perfect. Like it's not really something a 9-year-old would make. It's like something somebody a little bit more experienced could produce with practice and time, stuff like that.
Sure.
Do you remember your first wooden fingerboard?
Yeah, it was Skulls and Bones, just like a little company somebody had.
Okay.
Don't think that I have it anymore, but it was like $3.
Crazy.
It was $3, and like the shape was pretty much like a U, kind of like with a little
Nice.
concave thing in the center, but was pretty thin too. It was probably like 3 plies. I remember like the feeling because it was just raw wood like colored with a marker or something on the bottom, and it was so good. I guess like my first few videos, you'd probably see me using it. I'll see what I can dig up on that. And for today's standards, it would kind of look like a kid's first wooden fingerboard that they made or something, but
Yeah.
it was really good for what it was. Like the shape and the size could just work nice, and it put skate grip on it, and like it was kind of better than a tech deck anyway.
Yeah.
So, cool.
And when did you start doing your own boards? Or why did you start? Were you just like, were just looking for better quality, or did you want to make it cheaper, or what got you into board making?
I don't know. I guess like online and stuff, I saw different tutorials about how you could make boards a little bit, like not with crazy info, but just enough to like make me want to try it. And you know, I always saw like how skateboards were made, and like I had all these cool skate videos with stuff like that in it. And yeah, like I didn't know what the wood was called, so it took me a really long time to find thin wood that I could use. And eventually I was at a friend's house, and his dad was like, oh yeah, I got this wood veneer. And I'm like, what's wood veneer? And he showed me, and it's like really thin wood. It's like the plies of a fingerboard. And I was like, that is amazing. And I thought like, this is like this crazy, like you can't get it anywhere, and only this kid's dad had it. So I had to get some from him. And like I molded it between 2 tech decks, and I made a really good board. And I just remember like it was so early in my fingerboarding that like the board came out of the mold, and it had a really nice defined shape with like a concave in the middle going up a little. And I was just like, this is so weird. Like, why is it bent up in the center? I need to like fix it. So I was like clamping it back down after I took it out of the mold, trying to like flatten the center out. And then later I realized like, damn, that had a pretty good shape though. And I didn't even notice that the tech decks had that concave like that. Somehow, like it was really just a beginner. And anyways, my first board like came out really good. And then after that, they got a little bit worse. And then it got better like over time. But it was like really mind blowing just when I finally got the wood, because I wanted to like make them so badly. I don't know why I wanted to make them. I guess just because I thought it was cool. Like I want to make a board, so I have a board like made out of wood that I can use or whatever. I didn't really think like, I don't know what I was thinking.
So this wasn't related at all with FlatFace and everything. So FlatFace came to be later, I assume.
It was like, before I made a wood board, I already had like a company kind of, like it wasn't really selling anything, or it was just me and my friends, like, you know, our crew and whatever. And so I called it like Death Fingerboards. And then I was like selling skate grip, like cut up into sheets, and then
Yeah.
modifying trucks and stuff, like doing little things. And so it was like kind of a company, but like obviously nothing serious. Like I probably didn't like sell too much stuff for like, it was just like, yeah, you have $1, like here's 5 pieces of grip or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
Then like I told my dad, I was like, I want to put my company in the newspaper.
Oh, that's not gonna work out.
Yeah, I still remember, and he was just like, you can't do it with a name like that. And so then I changed the name from Death to Deaf, which is like, deaf is like when you can't hear anything.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
So it's like not even better at all, but I changed it to that for like a little while, and then I was like, okay, no, that's not going to work for the newspaper either. And then I kind of forgot all about the newspaper thing, but eventually, like, I just changed it to FlatFace because I was like reading something online, and it was just like, these are websites that don't exist, and it said like something about FlatFace something, and I was like, yeah, FlatFace is just so random. I'm just gonna call it FlatFace, and like, there's no like story behind it. It's just a random word, like.
Well, it came out nicely. I mean,
Yeah.
it has some ring to it.
Yeah, and I really like it. And I remember like when FlatFace started to get big, I was like, oh man, now I'm stuck with such a stupid name, FlatFace. I can't change it now because everybody knows it already. But actually, it's like a pretty cool name.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
And I mean, like the alliteration, the two F's, like flat
Yeah.
face, that really plays out with the logo and everything.
Yeah, it's so
So
fun. It's a lot with that.
that's really good.
But going back to the newspaper thing, do people in your town know that you do fingerboard stuff? Like, is that something that is reported in a town news magazine? Because I imagine it's quite a novelty to have someone quite young have his own company and employing his parents, and yeah.
Yeah, actually, it did get in the newspaper a couple times, which is like pretty funny. There's been like a couple of really cool articles. One was like 2007 or 2008, and then there's been like a few newer ones since then. I don't know, like, you know, like I look out my window, there's like 6 houses. I don't know if they know that I fingerboard or not. Like, not really sure like how many people know. But like one time I was shopping in the grocery store, and then like the dude that was putting my stuff in the bag just asked me like, how's the company going? And I was like, what? You know who I am? So like, I don't know. I guess a lot of people know, but I don't really know the extent of it.
Maybe that's actually like your FBI agent that is assigned to you. You know?
Yeah.
So when did FlatFace start getting big? Like when was the step that you realized that you have something with it, and
I
it's
think
more than
like,
just a hobby? Or
yeah, the first big step was like when Close Up asked me if I could distribute their completes here.
Hmm?
And because at this point I was selling my own things, like my boards, but I couldn't make as many boards as people wanted.
Yeah.
And so I would just make some and then sell like 5 boards and then take a break and close the shop and wait until I had like 2 more extra boards ready to sell. And then, you know, it was very slow and small. Then like Close Up, somehow we got in contact and they were like, you want to sell our completes in the US? And so I started doing that, and it was pretty cool because they had a product that was ready, that they had a lot of, that I could buy it and then sell it to people here. And then people here could get it because they didn't want to get it shipped from France to them and stuff like that. And I think that was a big turning point because then I was,
remember when that was?
it was like around 2007, I think.
Oh.
And then it kind of fueled everything. Like it made me realize like, all right, I need to make my boards and make them available and like make a lot of them.
Yeah.
And kind of like continue on that path. Like then I got into the same thing with Blackriver, and I got super lucky that they were down for it. and that they let me distribute rip tape is like how it started. Because I didn't have money to buy like a lot of ramps and sell them. I just had like maybe if I made some extra money from my own boards and from the close-ups, then I kind of put the extra money towards like my first Blackriver order, which was, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 packs of rip tape or something like that. And
Sick.
whatever it was, like each time I was able to order a little bit more. And then so I was like, hey, could I get like some box twos also? And like they're small, you can throw them in or something.
Mm.
And it really slowly grew from like selling a few fingerboard things to like being able to do more and more. And I was doing wheels at the same time, so I think the wheels really like brought it to the next level too. It kind of all like really started to grow at that point where like it got serious.
Were those actually like the first bearing wheels in the US?
Yeah, the only other bearing wheels were just in Germany, and they were Winkler wheels,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like impossible to get. Like nobody in this country
Okay.
ever saw them in person.
Okay.
It's like
Holy.
impossible. Like we all wanted them, but you couldn't do it. And then, yeah, somebody in England was like, hey, I don't have like bearing wheels, but I just have the same bearings, like similar bearings, like what you would find in them or whatever. And so I was in contact with him, and because I guess he was like selling the bearings, and people were trying to like drill out tech deck wheels and put the bearing in,
Mm.
which like kind of worked a little bit, but it wasn't that great because the wheels were not really that round anyways. Like, you know, tech deck wheels are like not that great. So
Yeah.
you can put a bearing in it and it will roll, but then like when you put it on the ground, it doesn't roll because it has like bumps on it. So I was able to get the bearings, and I think like right before I was able to get those, I was already making some wheels. They just didn't have bearings in them.
Okay.
Probably made wheels like for a year before that or something. And
What? Sorry.
yeah.
Go on.
Okay. Yeah, and then like when I got the bearings, I was able to just modify like my wheel to fit the bearings. Pretty simple. And then it was like, whoa, these are the first bearing wheels in the US. Like there's only one other company in the world doing it, and it was all the way in Germany, like super far from here. So it was like really cool.
Real
Yeah.
pioneer work, kind of.
And what material did you make them out of?
Oh yeah, that would have been my next question as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. So it's the T material. It's like a white. Are you guys frozen? Okay.
Still
It was from okay, yeah, so it was like this white material, and it was super like slippery kind of, but
Mhm.
had a really, really smooth feel. And I still sometimes make wheels out of those, out of that material, but it's just a little soft, so it's not as durable as like the Carnes. But it has a totally unique feel. So G1 through 4 was that material.
Mhm.
And then G5, I realized like, wait a minute, I can like mess around with other materials with the same process and see what comes out. And so like, then I started playing with different materials. And then G6 was like where it got serious because I found the turquoise and the red that were kind of like that turquoise is like a staple like of FlatFace wheels for sure.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, one of your favorite setups
Yeah.
has them on, right?
Yeah. I don't have it with me, but yeah.
Yeah, I got them right here too.
Yeah.
Woo!
Let's see, it's so dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, somebody on Instagram actually asked me if you're gonna bring the T material back, like on a more stable basis, kind of.
Yeah, I'd make them sometimes
Mhm.
because people want them, but like it's hard to explain to people that like it's going to break.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can buy this and it's really good, but you know, FlatFace wheels, all the other ones they could last you like 5 years or something crazy, and these ones might last you 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, I don't know, but it's just
Okay.
it's not the same. It's like it's a really good product, but the material is softer, and there's nothing you can do about the fact that like it will break sooner. And that's the same with the John Cowart wheels that like people really want, and they do last a long time, but they don't last as long as the other wheels. So I kind of make them as a limited edition thing, like here and there, and I just like have to explain, like, they're not going to break in 5 minutes, but they might break in a few months or something. So, like, if you really want them that bad, you can buy them and enjoy them.
More a bit of an esoteric question. Why do you think a lot of people make decks, but only quite a few people do make wheels? Because I mean, lately it started like a bit of a wave of people making wheels, but for a long time there were only a few wheel companies.
Like maybe 4 that were actually
Yeah,
to be considered decent professional fingerboard wheels,
yeah.
if even.
I think it's just more of a technical thing, and not everybody's super technical.
Mm.
And yeah, especially for like a 10-year-old kid, it's like pretty difficult. Like I was lucky that my dad's an engineer and he was able to teach me like, oh, if you want to make something, like you have to draw it and you have to measure it and you have to do the, like I had somebody to teach me how I could like make anything that I could think of, you know, and like some people just don't really have the ability to do that, or like they don't know where to begin or how to figure it out. And then it's like, how do you make it different? How do you make it better? What's the point of doing it? Like there has to be a good reason, I guess.
Did you ever dip your toes in making trucks?
No, not really. Like I thought about it around when Blackriver was doing it, maybe a little before them, and I didn't do it because it was super expensive. Like
Mm.
the mold to get started is super expensive, and then I was really thinking about it, but it would have kind of been like my whole extra savings at the time. It's super expensive to make a truck mold, and so I was thinking like, if I spend this much money, if I save up and then spend it all in a truck mold, and then I realized like they're not that good or they need a change or something, like it was way too scary. And then to see Black River do it was so awesome. And they did a really good job with it. Like Martin told me, like, yeah, all these different measurements on this, like, even though it just looks how it does, like it's thought out really well so that it performs good. And, you know, when you use Black River trucks, like they perform better than any other trucks out there.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, at least in my opinion, but especially compared to what we had, which was only Tech Deck.
Yeah.
So, like, he did a really good thing with that. And then, so on one hand, I saw, like, okay, it's possible to make trucks, and it's possible to make your money back on it, like, if you do a good job and you sell them for a long time and stuff. And then I was like, but Martin just did it so well, I don't think I can do it better than that. I really, you know, it's like, I could try to do it, and what would be the point? I feel like it would come out worse or the same or whatever, but like, I don't know, it was just like, this is pretty much a perfect product already, so I'm just gonna do it. Like, I don't want to be competing, and I don't want to like screw myself over by spending my money on like a project that's like too expensive and not really worth it. So
yeah, it's really a bit of an all-in if that's only just the first mold and you still have to go through a testing phase and all that.
yeah, exactly. Like if you know, you could make a mold and it could be like 70% good, but something needs a big change, and then you have to like do it again. No way. Might as well buy a house instead.
When did you buy your house? Like,
I bought my house when I was 17, actually.
so crazy.
Wow.
Cool. I think a lot of people ask you about urethane wheels. Why don't you make urethane wheels, or were you ever thinking about doing urethane?
It's just not my preference personally. The whole reason that I make anything is at this point, like, because I want to make it really good. Like, I want to make what I want to use, kind of.
Yeah.
That's like with my boards. I've been making them for so long and always modifying it to be like, okay, if I change this, it works better, and if I change this, it works better. And like, it's not what like somebody else thinks I should make. It's just like I make what I think should be the best thing or whatever. So for me, like the materials that I use are the materials that I find perform the best, like for my own fingerboarding style and stuff, and allows me to do harder tricks with less effort and stuff. And urethane wheels are super cool. They feel awesome for sure. Like they're just different. but I don't really prefer using them like on my main setup. It's usually more of a fun thing, or like on certain materials it's fun, but like not for all around everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just kind of leave that for the people that are more passionate about it because they can do a better job than me. And then the really cool thing is like that I have a collaboration wheel with Oak. So
Yeah.
we both put our best things together. It's like we'll do the dual durometer and we'll do the Oak outside, so it feels like that, but it feels a little different because it's the dual duro thing, and those are super fun too. So that's kind of like the best of both worlds, and it's like a totally unique thing. Like nobody else has something like that.
And you also distribute Oak.
Yeah, which is super cool. So instead of having to make a product to compete with somebody, which I wouldn't want to do, it's like I can support their brand and they can support mine, and like it helps everybody because then you don't have to order it from Portugal and pay $20 shipping for a $30 set of wheel and then wait for 3 weeks and figure out how to get your money there. It's like way easier to just buy everything in the US. So it helps out like everybody.
Yeah, for us it's the same. If we want FlatFace wheels, we usually go to FBS because it's just more convenient.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It makes more sense for everybody and it helps out everybody better.
Although I was like so hyped on the J wheels that I ordered them like straight away from your site, like the moment they dropped. Like, fuck! I just placed an order a week ago, and now this drops. Well, anyway.
We do ship worldwide, so anybody, if you can't find what you're looking for, like in your local area, we can get it to you.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, but the whole J material was kind of a new step up from my perspective, because it's totally different than the other FlatFace wheels, but still, I love that wheel.
It's almost a crossover of like plastic and urethane. It's like a hybrid kind of, and it feels super good. It's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it still has like that super precise FlatFace feel compared with the softer.
How do you find those materials? Do you have like a catalog that you flip through, or like? Cause I have no idea how to get those kinds of materials.
Alien swirl.
Yeah, that one's top secret for sure.
Yeah,
all the materials that I select are like chosen for specific reasons. Like before I even try to make a wheel out of it, it's like I do a lot of research into it and like how durable is it, what special properties does it have, and like some material. Well, actually, I don't want to give out too many secrets, but there's like some really cool things on more of like a scientific level that make my materials kind of like better for fingerboard wheels than the next material. I don't want to like give out those secrets, but there's like some really cool stuff with the materials that like, each of them is unique too. Like the gold ones are harder and the turquoise ones are a little softer, and like the T was like super smooth with like that like oily type of feel, like all kinds of cool stuff like that. And one time I had a material that had like graphite in them, and it was just for like a short, like 1 or 2 batches we did, and like they would leave crazy skid marks on everything. And it was cool. I forget what I called them. I might have just called them like the graphite wheels or something, but it was just a small amount of graphite in the material. So like you don't get a track when you ride, but like if you power slide, it like leaves a little like skid mark or whatever. So
what about the durability?
Yeah, they were super durable too, though.
Oh wow!
It was insane. Like the material is very durable. It just had like a little bit of graphite mixed in somehow.
Okay.
That was years ago. I wonder if anybody has those. I bet somebody watching is gonna. They were just gray, like dark gray wheels.
All right.
Cool. Yeah, I really like the different hardness of all your wheels, because that's like something for everybody. Like Ramon, he he uses the golden ones, and I don't think he will be able to break those. And that can't be
Yeah.
said about everything he uses.
He's crazy. He shreds things down till the bearing practically.
Yeah.
He
Just
goes so
crazy.
fast and fingerboard so hard. Like
Yeah.
so
Wheel testers out there, Ramon's your guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody else like him in the way that he can like go through fingerboard stuff. Like in a genuine way. It's not that he's trying to destroy it, he just like uses it till it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, what about like your your housemates, the fluctuation of people in and out of like your friendships? How did that develop on an even international basis?
Yeah, it's really crazy how like fingerboarding is such a community of like-minded people. It's like pretty much everybody you meet through fingerboarding, you're gonna get along with them pretty well. Even if they're like the worst person, you can get along with them. But like, there's a lot of really, really cool people that I've met over the years. And like, I got my house. I kind of didn't even like realize that I got a house. It was more of like, I don't know. The whole house thing was like crazy. It took a long time for it to set in and realize like that I have my own house. And then like, I started living here, and then all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, like nobody is around me. I'm just by myself. Like I hang out with friends all the time, but like nobody lives here. And then like, yeah, like Jay moved in with me, which was really cool, and we got to live together for like a few years. And I've had a lot of other roommates too at different times, like for a short amount of times, for like half a year, for a year, or like a few months, and like they've all been super fun. Because I have like a couple extra rooms, so like Ryan Bernier lived here, and like Max Odo, and all these different people. I had like Alex Gill live here for a while. That was really fun. Like tons of different fingerboarders. Some of my friends from town have like lived here for different amounts of time too. So it's cool to like have a place that you can just like chill with your friends, and it's like it's a really cool kind of like fingerboard community like spot, I guess. Like a lot of cool things happen for sure.
Also, like, how did the rendezvous develop? Like, was that out of necessity to have an US event, kind of, or
Yeah,
was it-
exactly. That was a really cool thing. I'm glad that it worked out how it did, because like basically I saw the German fingerboard events, and it was
Yeah.
just unreal, because here was still at the point where like nobody was aware of any fingerboarder that like met another fingerboarder
Yeah.
from online. Like that was not even a real thing yet. And I was seeing like, wow, like I had Pissing Fingers too, and I would watch that all the time, and I'm probably gonna go watch that again today because it's been a while.
I watch it regularly as well.
It's so special, that video. And wow, just seeing the way that like, you know, they would have a fingerboard park or a few parks at a place, and people would be there together fingerboarding. And it was like, I knew Pat, and Pat was a really good fingerboarder, so like me and him would fingerboard together, but that was it. Like I didn't know anybody else that was like good at fingerboarding. And then I wanted to do this event. There was maybe 5 or 7 kids from my town that fingerboarded, so I figured like I'll get them all to come and then just invite people from the forums. Like if anybody can come, it'll be really cool. And Taylor Rosenbauer was like, yeah, I have 3 friends or 2 friends, and we're going to come from New Jersey, which is like 7 hours drive from here. And
Holy shit.
I was like, that's awesome, let's do it. Like we'll put some parks out in my parents' driveway, and we'll have like this little rendezvous event. I must have been in 5th grade or something. I don't know, because I remember like the word rendezvous came from my history class. Because I learned like that there was this word that means like a get together, and it was like a French word, and I have nothing about French, but the point is like it was just like a word with a cool meaning that like made perfect sense for like the event. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, fingerboard rendezvous, and it was just the kids from my town, and then Taylor Rosenbauer and like I think he brought two people. It was like Ian and John Contra, probably Ian Bruno. Yeah, and they said they were coming, and then they canceled it. They were like, we can't come, sorry. And then I'm like, oh man, well, you know what? I'm just gonna have my friends over anyways. And then last minute, like the night before, Taylor was like, dude, we're coming. And I was so happy. And then, yeah, we just made a video and we had a really good time and stuff. And then, that was, as far as I know, that was like the first fingerboard event here. And it was like, you know, a small get together. It wasn't like Pissing Fingers crazy events where they go to a hotel and like whatever, but it was a start. And, people saw the video and were like, I want to go to that too. What?
Do you remember the year? Roughly?
2006, 5. I can actually check. Give me 1 second.
Because in Germany, the events really started rolling around 2003, 2004. There were events before, but those were like the big ones where it actually became a thing.
Yeah, it was actually 2007. I just found it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a video on my YouTube. I uploaded it with FlatFace Fingerboard Rendezvous 1, so you can see all the footage. Wow, and there was like this ramp that me and Pat stayed up till 5 in the morning making. So like he slept over the night before, and we just made this crazy ramp. We called it the Ghetto Blaster. It's like a corner pole with all the USPS stickers on it and stuff. But anyways, yeah, like after we put that video up, people saw like, wow, this is real. You can like go fingerboard with people. And then the second event had like a lot more people wanted to come. So I think it might have been 15, 20 or more people. And I started meeting really cool people through these events because, you know, anybody willing to like drive with their parents for 4 hours to go fingerboard like in another state means like they're pretty into fingerboarding. And some of them were like really good at it, or they made cool things, or like whatever it was, like something got the conversation started. And then like I met Chris Diso, and I met all these different people. I met Jay for the first time at one of them, and some of them I knew online before that, and some of them I didn't really know that well online, just enough to be like, yeah, come fingerboard. And it made like some lasting friendships that I still have today.
And did you started making parks because of your events, or were you doing parks for your own before?
I was making ramps, not like full parks yet, but I was always making ramps, like different obstacles. I still have some of the first ones I made with my grandfather, like when I was probably 10, 11, 12 years old, because he had all kinds of tools and stuff. So we were always doing projects anyways. So it was like, oh, let's try to make something for fingerboarding. And every time I went there, it would just be like sitting on the floor with an obstacle, just fingerboarding all day. Like, and what was the first? Wow, yeah, the first park I made was like with John Coward, I think. I don't know if that was the first park, but one of the first, anyways. And that I still have with like the roller with the quarter pipe made out of bricks, and then there's like a Euro gap and a quarter pipe.
Oh, that one.
The stair set with the marble rail ledge down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the little thing.
I think I saw that at the Voo place.
Yeah, it's still there, and it's actually in good condition still too.
Nice.
Yeah, like speaking of the Voo place, you have quite a collection of Blackriver parks there.
Oh yeah.
How did that start? Was it just one day like, I'm gonna buy a Blackriver park, or because like shipping is probably hell?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So like first I got a big mini, and I think I was the first person in the country to have a big mini also. And it kind of worked out because I was already in contact with Blackriver about like selling rip tape and whatever, and that I started with. And so one time I was like, okay, if you're gonna ship like more ramps, if I'm gonna order a big amount of ramps, maybe we can just add a big mini because it's already a big package. So we'll just make it another foot taller and put a big mini on top. And so I
All
was
right.
and yeah, it kind of worked out that way, like, because when it got to the point, I don't know when I got the big mini, but just in general, like, it got to the point that they were sending, like, a whole pallet worth of Blackriver stuff. And then it was like, okay, we can add something big in here, and it's the same shipping price either way. It doesn't affect it if it's 1 foot taller or not. It's just a pallet. So you load it up with ramps and then, like, can put a big mini or two. So I even got to sell some big minis for other people, like, later on by doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, my first park was like super crazy because I asked Martin, like, hey, can I get a Blackriver park somehow? And he's like, yeah, it's going to be expensive for shipping, but I'll give you a free park if you want to, like, pay the shipping. And so it was worth it. It made it that, like, it was the price of a normal park instead of, like, 2 times the price.
Seems like a good deal.
Yeah. And so, like, the shipping was crazy because they were like, yeah, we can't just, like, mail it. It has to go through a special company, and then it has to go through customs, and then they put it on a truck with another company in your area, and you have to arrange them to bring it to you, and it's in a wooden box, and it's super heavy, and there was, like, all these details that made it really difficult, but we made it work, and then, like, a big truck came in my driveway one day and dropped it off. And it was crazy, like, the first park that I got was a brand new park that he designed, so I was, like, the first person who had that park.
Oh, cool.
Like, even before it was in Germany, because he just made it and sent it here and then, like, modified it for the next ones that he made out there. It's like that one with a really steep wall ride, and it has, like, some granite, like, bonsai granite ledges.
Oh, could it be like the G7 with the curved
Yeah,
section?
yeah, G7 park.
Mhm.
That's the one. And so, like, I got the first one, and there's pictures on, like, the Blackriver Flickr account, which everybody should, like, take 5 hours out of your life, like, start at midnight and just stay up all night looking through all the photos on Flickr on Blackriver because it's amazing what they have on there. It's like a hidden gem in the fingerboard, like, internet community, I think.
Yeah, it's the only.
Look at so many pictures on there. There's just awesome stuff. But there's pictures of that park when it's brand new and it's all, like, in a black background and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the only place where I still find pictures from me at fingerboard events because I didn't save those photos like 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Ja.
Das habe ich nicht verstanden.
Du hast doch Fragen auf Instagram bekommen.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so Julian received some questions over Instagram that we wanted to ask.
Awesome.
I'm gonna start with one that I remember. It's from Nolly.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, what's your favorite German food or candy?
Yeah, exactly. Sweets
Oh,
slash food.
Yeah.
Everything. Every time that I go there, I'm so excited the whole time because if you know me, you know that I like to eat, like, all the time. And actually, I'm, like, eating right now, kind of.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get there, I'm just so excited. Like, they have these little bakeries, and, like, we don't have it the same way here, how you guys have, like, you know, you get to the train station anywhere, and there's, like, a bakery, and they have sandwiches and sweets and all that stuff. And, like, to me, it's just higher quality food than you get in America, like, especially with, like, convenience and how cheap it is and stuff. Like, you can pay, like, 1 or 2 euros in Germany and get, like, a really good sandwich or something. And it's better than, like, a $10 sandwich in the U.S. And it's just at the train station, like, easy everywhere. So, like, as soon as I get there, I'm, like, filling my backpack with sandwiches and donuts and whatever, like, sweets and stuff. And the butter pretzels are really good, too. And
Yeah. I'm from the area where those come from, and I really miss just being able to buy them at a regular bakery in Berlin, because here it's not that thing, but back where I'm from, you can find them everywhere, and I used to eat them all the time.
It's so good. And yeah, and then getting into, like, real food, like a schnitzel with, like, some, you know, they come with the lingonberries and potatoes and stuff.
Yeah.
So good.
I'm getting hungry.
Currywurst, donor, everything. There's too many good things.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. Everything that I eat there is amazing.
Cool.
So another question that kind of stood out is, does fingerboarding teach you something about life, like in general? And if
Yeah,
yes,
fingerboarding is life.
sorry,
Fingerboarding is life.
that's a statement.
Yeah,
I think
but
we should
actually,
leave it at that.
fingerboarding, like, I don't know, it kind of did teach me a lot about life in a lot of different ways. And
Yeah.
I grew up a lot as a person, and like fingerboarding's always been a really big part of my life. So it's always kind of been there through all these different learning experiences. And a lot I got like because I don't just fingerboard, but like I have a fingerboard company, so I'm like really involved with fingerboarding,
Mm.
like all these different ways. And so like in the early years of FlatFace, I got a lot of like pushback from different companies, and like I would argue with them, like if they were like, there was people that would lie about FlatFace and stuff, be like, oh, his boards are made in China or like stuff like that, and it was like, dude, I'm making them right here, like you can't say that. It's like literally I'm working super hard every single day, like making things with my own hands, and you're lying saying that it's made in China so that people won't buy it. Like, so I would get really mad at all these people and like get into all kinds of arguments just trying to defend myself and like prove what I was doing and whatever. And there's all different levels of stuff like that happen, and like you learn a lot by how those arguments go and how the outcome comes out. And then like now I just keep to myself, and I'm just like, I let my work speak for itself, and that's it. But
Yeah.
all the different types of arguments that you have over the years, you realize kind of what works and what doesn't, and like you grow a lot as a person. You realize like, okay, you can't just say mean things about a person. That doesn't do anything. Like you don't want to, if somebody's doing something bad, you don't want to make a video about it telling people, because then you're giving them publicity, and like all kinds of things just like that. You kind of learn how to like focus on more positive things, and like, I don't know, just be yourself. I guess fingerboarding, a huge thing about it is like being yourself, because it's such like a weird, different thing that like if you're fingerboarding in public and people are looking at you, but you're still just doing it and having fun, like that shows that you're a confident person who doesn't care what other people think about you. You're really doing what you want to do instead of trying to be cool or something. And I think stuff like that is super important for people to stick with, because like just you can like, yeah, you can like put that onto like anything in life, but like you gotta live your own life. You don't want to live the life that people expect you to live, or do the things people expect you to do, when you can like do the things you enjoy instead, because like there's no reason not to. Like it's your life to enjoy. So fingerboarding like taught me all kinds of stuff like that. So it's really cool.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
What was your favorite trip?
Wow. All of them. Dude, there's so many good ones.
Or maybe is there like a specific anecdote that was particularly fun that you would like to share from a certain trip? Something like that, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I've done a lot of traveling, and most of it is related to fingerboarding.
Yeah.
And they were all awesome. There's not one that I was like, oh, I wish I didn't go there. Like, even some really random ones, like, I went to some smaller events in random states that I've never been to before, and it was so cool and totally worth it. But I have to say, like, the best was definitely Germany, like, in general Germany, but especially the first few times that I went, and the first few fast fingers that I went to and stuff, because it was just so special and new and, like, super exciting. And
Nice.
like I said too, like I grew up a lot as a person through all my traveling too, just like seeing the world from a different angle and seeing things like that. But like the fingerboard scene in Germany was just like so crazy ahead of its time, like ahead of what it is here. So
Yeah.
it's like super fun times there.
Do you feel like the German scene is still ahead, or because I have the feeling that the USA scene is much more ahead at the moment?
Yeah, it seems like everything's happening here now.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess. I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, Germany was a huge influence for us for sure. And lately, like, there's so many people in the US doing things. Like, in California, there's a big scene too.
yeah,
And that's all the way across the country from here. Like, it takes the same amount of time to fly from me to California than from me to Germany. Like, it's the same country, but it's far. And it's really cool. Like, there's tons of people doing everything. So, like, I think we have, like, a really strong community now and, like, a really strong scene. Like, we have Scott B doing dynamic trucks.
yeah,
And those trucks are, like, actually really good. Like, they're the only other fingerboard trucks that are anywhere close to Blackriver trucks, like, performance.
yeah.
They're super, super good. And, yeah, like, we kind of just have, like, a really big community. Like, there's a lot more people doing events than just me.
Yeah.
Like, when I started, I was the only one, and, like, not too long after, you start seeing all these other events pop up, and then, like, some of the events were really good and really big, too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awesome, because then, like, if you don't live near Massachusetts, but you live in California, you can go fingerboard with, like, 200 people also.
Yeah.
So it's sweet. And I hope that things are, like, doing good in Germany, because they had, like, a huge thing at one point. And, like, there's so many cool parks and people and history and everything out there. Definitely. So I'm excited to come back, like, for Fast Fingers.
Nice.
So you're coming.
Yeah, I'm booking it in, like, a week or two.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, see you here, I guess.
Yep. So excited.
I have another question. What would you think would you be doing if you hadn't founded FlatFace? Like, have you ever thought about job opportunities outside of fingerboarding?
That's a really crazy one. I don't even know how to answer that, because, like, I wanted to be a doctor my whole life since I was, like, 3. And then once I was, like, 16-ish, I didn't want to be a doctor anymore. And then it was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What do I want to do? Like, you know, a lot of people kind of struggle with that when you get to that moment where you realize you need to do something and you don't know what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then luckily I realized at that point, like, FlatFace is doing pretty good. I think I can try to do it as a job, maybe. I don't know, but I could try it, I guess. And it was, like, super scary, just, like,
Yeah.
doing that instead of going to college, because, I don't know, but, like, my dad encouraged me. He was like, I think you're doing well enough that you can make it work. And I made it work. But I always think about, like, if I didn't do that, what would I be doing? And I'm just like, I have no idea. Because now that I did FlatFace for so long, I realized, like, if I wanted to make another business, I would know how to run it from a business perspective. But it's like, I don't know, it would have to be something super random or whatever. So, but, like, if I just didn't do FlatFace at all, and then I didn't have that, like, experience, it would be totally different. I don't know if I would realize that I know how to run a business or not.
Yeah.
So I could have gone into anything, probably something computer or technology related, or, like, I have no idea. I'm just super happy that, like, it went this way.
Yeah. I think we all are quite happy.
Oh yeah. We are.
Yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. Do you have a couple more?
I think that wraps about.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah.
Cool.
No more
So,
Instagram questions.
Yeah, I think that were the most interesting questions from the
Yeah.
Instagram feed.
okay, yeah. So glad that you took time out of your day, and yeah,
Thank you.
really was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That was super fun. I love talking about all this kind of stuff. It's super cool.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, just thanks again.
Well, yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
No worries.
Yeah, and one more thing before we wrap it up.
Okay, right.
This time on the episode we used a jingle that was done for us by Ben, Fingered Ben. He actually did it by himself without even talking to us, and showed it to me one day and out of the blue, and it's really cool. So thank you so much for that. So
He's a funny dude.
yeah, he's really
Totally.
cool. So yeah, that's about it. And yeah, see and hear you next episode.
Yeah, see
Bye.
you guys next time.